Glover Show, be more news. Johnny 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 Glover Show, be more news. Be news.
First name's Downey, last name's Glover. In it to win it for the long haul, baby. Mafia Shakur, how are you, sir?
All is well. Peace to God. How you feeling?
Tonight is going to be a very special show. I can assure you that.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Looking forward
Let's
to
get
it.
your main man in. Is Hannibal up in here yet? We got a couple special guests I want to share with you. I think you'll be impressed. There you go. You say Hannibal.
Hey, what up, though, Donnie? What up, though, Mafia?
How was your day?
Oh, I had a good day. How was your day?
Fam, all is well. All is well. Planet Wells, how are you, sir?
Yeah, blessed. Good to see you. Good to see you all.
Good to see
Yes,
you.
sir. Peace.
Okay, I need to do an intro. I tell you, this show is going to change your life, man. Watch this. Mafia, do you want to tell them what your research today?
As far as in what I shared with the
The flag.
with the Muskogee Creeks and with the
What you
Muskogee
asked
Creeks
me
and their
What you asked
citizenship.
me about? No, what you asked me about?
I don't know. I'm stumped.
You don't remember, bro?
No.
Let me help you out, man. You getting old. I thought I was. It's that East Side dispensary. Okay. It's the Confederate flag, man.
Oh, the Confederate flag. Yeah, the Confederate flag. Oh man, that's powerful. That's originally our flag. Well, to my knowledge.
Okay.
Well, you were going to talk about the Iroquois.
Yes, and the Confederate. That's the Iroquois Confederacy flag. I never put the two together though. It makes sense though.
No. Okay. Well, what'd you come up with? What'd you go and research?
Well, see, the Iroquois Confederacy is a conglomerate of the tribes. So when we think about the Iroquois, it's not just one tribe that is. It's not one tribe that's just leading the spearhead. It's a conglomerate of the tribes, mainly in the Eastern Woodlands. The Iroquois Confederacy is a conglomerate of what was birthed out of the Mississippian culture. So it's the next generations that was birthed out of the Mississippian culture that spread it to the other lands that was not in the major cities. The major cities like the Arizona, the Big Easy, New Orleans. These was the big towns in the Mississippian culture. So the Iroquois Confederacy came from the tribes that was birthed out of that over time and created the conglomerate on the land.
Mm-hmm.
So, Wells, did you know about the Confederate flag?
Yeah, I had some. Yes, I visited that. Yeah.
And what'd you come up with?
That, like everything else, they ripped it off. You know, the assumption that the colonizers are these great creative and inventive people, that that ain't the case. They just had the bullets and the brutality.
They did.
You
All
know,
right,
the
we're gonna
game
welcome
is
to the
they just
show,
steal. They just steal.
Mr. William Jones. How you doing, Mr. Jones?
Peace. How you doing, brother? You guys can see me?
Yes,
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh,
sir.
sir.
excellent. Well, first of all, man, thank you for inviting me. I truly appreciate it. And I look forward to having this discussion with your guests.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Mr. Jones is the founder of Afrofuturism Network, a historian, educator, self-described comic book geek. William Jones is the author of The Ex-Con, Voodoo Priest, Goddess, and the African King. Try saying that fast 4 times. The Ex-Con, Voodoo Priest, Goddess, and the African King, which is an analysis of Black comic book heroes. He frequently speaks about the history of Black people in America, the image of Black people in various forms of media, pop culture, on various college campuses and at conferences both nationally and abroad. Afrofuturism Network seeks to support the ever-growing community of Black writers, artists, and thinkers in the realms of sci-fi, fantasy, comic books, and film. AFN analyzes the contributions and portrayal of Black characters in these mediums. AFN examines the role and place of Black people in the past, present, and future, and serves as a hub for Black creativity and thought. William is also the creator and host of Into the Afroverse, which highlights Afrofuturist creators and intellectuals. Williams is also the creator and host of An Evening with Afrofuturists, events held across the DMV. For those out of town, his DMV is the DC, Northern Virginia, and they don't claim, they claim all of Maryland except Baltimore. They don't claim
Right.
Baltimore.
right.
They say we got to have our own category, but it's all good. Not you, Mr. Jones. Welcome
No,
to the
thank
show.
you. Thank you. Once again, I truly appreciate the invitation. And like I said, I look forward to having this discussion with your guests.
All right, we got Dr. Nev also. Now, in my neighborhood, hey, Ev, let me give you a tip. You got rotate on your phone. If you push rotate and turn it to the side, it'll fill out to the side. Yeah, you go. Bam! You see that technology just like that. Code to code. Nev, I don't begin to know your full resume, but this is what I can tell the world. In my part of Baltimore, 21217, where Freddie Gray happened, Pennsylvania Avenue, even where we caught Don Lemon, with 2 white guys holding cameras on them. It's a part of the state that nobody wants to come to. This is where we have more returning citizens or formerly incarcerated persons than anywhere. We got more dope, we got more cocaine, we got more crack, and I'm not bragging. In other words, we are terrorized by our own, terrorized from within. However, as bad as it is, Nev, let me put you on the spot. Do you think we need the National Guard in Baltimore?
Nah, man, we can govern ourselves.
Okay, I appreciate that, Nev, because that was just totally out the blue, because that's what I told him, and then some people got mad. But nonetheless, Dr. Nev, he has the only fruits and vegetables, from my perspective, in about a 2-mile range. There's another market. That's the kind of market you gotta take your own bag in there, don't you?
Yeah,
Is that a save a lot?
yeah. And their produce in there isn't there all that anyway, so I wouldn't even call it a market.
How do you go to the supermarket and they ask you if you want a bag? When did that become the norm? Okay, anyway, I digress. Tell them who you are, Dr. Nev. I know I missed something.
All right, so I am a doctor. I'm an Indigenous doctor. I belong to the Aboriginal public of North America. I've been practicing within that actual government for about since 2017, going on now. From there, me and my partner, Brother Balloon, we've had various different ventures from foods, restaurants, workforce development, so training kids how to cut fruits, actually turn produce into cash crop or gold, take a simple orange, juice it, turn it into a bottle, have a fresh access to a person. They can make income. So we've done a lot in Baltimore. We've been doing this type of work, food justice work, for about 12 years now. So I started this when I was about 19, and I'm 32 now. So I've been doing this for a while. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yes, good
Appreciate
point.
you.
Okay, so Mafia Shakur is our point guard. You go ahead and run your plays, coach. Player
Okay,
coach.
I wanted to start with Brother William Jones. So you create the imagery of history in your animation or in your art, in your depictions.
Actually, what I do is I analyze it. So I
Okay.
look at the history of Black representation in various forms, and I juxtapose it to the way we're being treated in the real world. And I look for correlation, because my understanding and what I've been able to prove is the way we're being treated in various medium, be it comic books, films, television, and so forth, that runs parallel to the way we're being treated in the real world, or in America in particular. So, for example, if you look at one of the first images of a Black person in an American comic strip, this is happening the same time that you have Plessy versus Ferguson. So you have this stereotypical representation of Black folks in a comic strip called the Yellow Kid. And it's happening at the same time that you got Plessy versus Ferguson, where we're being marginalized by the Supreme Court. So just the way we're being marginalized in a comic strip, we're being marginalized in the real world. And you see these changes in terms of the way we're presented throughout time based on what's going on around us in the real world.
Mr. Jones, you want to tell them about Plessy versus Ferguson?
Oh yeah. So if your listeners are not familiar with Plessy v. Ferguson, what happened was, this is after the passage of the what they call civil rights amendments, the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments, and Black folk were looking to see whether or not they would receive support from the government on the 14th Amendment, protecting your rights as a citizen. So you have Homer Plessy, who gets on board of a train car. A lot of people think Plessy v. Ferguson, they automatically start thinking about like schools, but it really started on a train car. So when Homer Plessy, who by outward appearances actually may have looked white, he actually had Black blood in him, and that one drop rule, that was the rule at the time, he was defined as a Black person. So he's kicked off the train car and so forth, and it ends up in the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court then rules, if you heard the phrase, separate but equal, okay, that's coming out of that case. So this is when you start to have the nationwide Jim Crow era. And Jim Crow, once again, going back to the imagery of Black folk, was actually a caricature that was created by a white entertainer imitating Black folks. Okay, so when you see blackface and minstrels and so forth, that actually traces back to the image of Jim Crow. And Jim Crow was a name that they called Black people long before it became a collection of laws about segregation and so forth.
So what was the imagery prior to Plessy versus Ferguson? What was the imagery of Black people?
So yeah, that's an excellent question. You will see imagery in terms of etchings and sketches and so forth of Black folk being enslaved, for example. Okay, you will see that dating back basically to the beginnings of slavery in this country and in other countries as well. But if we're just talking about the United States, you'll see images of Black folk being enslaved, images of Black folk in terms of the plantation life, being abused and things of that nature. And I often tell folks, whatever the technology of the day is, it captured Black suffering. So at a time before photography, this was all illustrations. And then once photography comes around, then you have us being photographed. Okay. And also in terms of the imagery, what happens is early on, Black folk are often depicted as being childlike and obedient and things of that nature. Once the 13th Amendment is passed after the Civil War, they changed the imagery because, as you well know, maybe your listeners do not, but the 13th Amendment, you end slavery except for cases where you break the law. Then you can be put back into slavery. So then all of a sudden the imagery changes of Black folk to where they become criminals, where they become a threat. So in that case, the imagery starts to change around 1865. We go from being these simplistic, almost like childlike beings that need correction, that need slavery and so forth. But then with the 13th Amendment, they're like, oh, we got to start putting them in jail. So now we become these criminals and so forth, and things of that nature.
And let me
So
just add in there, you mentioned imagery.
Brilliant.
One of the biggest pieces of imagery was The Birth of a Nation, the film by
Yes, sir.
D.W. Griffith,
Yes,
which
sir.
painted Black people in those stereotypes that you were alluding to. All of the negative images of scared of our own shadow and eating watermelon, big
Yes,
lips,
sir.
big nose, you know, all kinds of. It started with that film, The Birth of a Nation by D.W. Griffith. Please go
and
on.
so before The Birth of a Nation, what was the imagery? How did we get from the indigenous American Indian image to the slave image? And was that just from the photography, or was it
No, no.
also in imagery as well?
So you also have biblical or Judaic Christian origins in terms of the imagery. When you talk about the exaggerated features of Black folks, if you go back and you look at the story of Noah, okay, you have this story of course, you know, Noah, the earth floods and so forth, and his family is left behind. But what happens is, as part of certain oral traditions, they add to that story. And they say that Noah got drunk. Now, once again, this is all myth. They say that Noah got drunk. And as a result of his drunkenness, he started to disrobe himself. And two of his sons covered him up, and one son made fun of him. When Noah sobers up, all of a sudden he said, well, what happened? And his two sons explained to him that the one son made fun of you. So then he's cursed. He says, your children are going to be born ugly and black, and their lips are going to swell, and their hair is going to kink. And that the women will become fornicators, the men will be shamefully elongated, and these people will never tell the truth. So when you start talking about the cursed seed of Canaan and so on, the cursed seed of curse of Ham, I'm sorry, coming out of that Noah story, that contributed greatly to the depiction of Black folks when you see these exaggerated features and its menstrual-like features. Once again, we talk about Jim Crow, you take it back to a guy by the name of Thomas Daddy Rice, who was a white entertainer. And one day, so the story goes, he saw a Black person dancing, and the Black person was singing a song, turn about, wheel about, I do it thus so. Every time I turn about, I jump Jim Crow. So he puts on the makeup, starts blackface, and starts to use that name Jim Crow. So even before the laws, you have these images and so forth taking place. So once again, we talk about those exaggerated features. It's coming out of those types of stories. Birth of a Nation actually gave rebirth to the Ku Klux Klan. The Ku Klux Klan was dying. Okay, Ku Klux Klan was born right after the Civil War. Klukos meaning circle.
Alaska, Tennessee.
Exactly. Klukos meaning a circle of friends, right? If folks have seen Forrest Gump, that's where Forrest Gump gets his name from. Bedford Forrest, one of the founders of the Ku Klux Klan. And if you watch Forrest Gump, there's a scene where he shows how all his family died in various battles. And one of the first battles you see is the Civil War. That image that you see there, that's Thomas Daddy Rice, where it says the original Jim Crow. That's actually supposed to be a white person in blackface. So that's not even a Black person. And if you've seen, what's his name? Childish Gambino's This Is America, that's the first pose he takes when that video starts. That's where he's getting that from. So once again, the way that you arrive at the imagery and the representation of Black folk today, there's a long history behind it.
Okay,
So that's one piece. Let me slide over to Dr. Nev. Dr. Nev has a piece of information that I see this man every week. That's where we get our fresh ginger from. And tell him what you told me, Nev.
Yeah, so we were talking today. I was going a little bit more in depth into the government. Like I said earlier, I do belong to an Aboriginal government called the Aboriginal Republic of North America, and it's based off of the She Almond root, kind of similar to the Olmecs. It's no different than like Blackfoot or any other like out-of-body politic government. But owning that and belonging to that, I've been able to, accumulate the tax exempt benefits. Even when it comes to like owning a car, I was able to actually get taxes off my car, and also into purchasing a house. I was able to get a QSIP number from Maryland so I can actually purchase my first home. tax exempt, put that in my trust, and there's no property taxes too as well. Most of this stuff is in the Declarations of Rights of Indigenous People. So that's why I really push, our people looking more. So I know we talk about Black Wall Street, getting away from the system, economical, just relief, but like really self-governance and really, coming together under a system is kind of what we're really pushing here. And everything's legit. I've been in, like I said, for over 10 years now. The tribe is growing, but it's just as similar to a Blackfoot Indian. Me being a doctor under that tribe, that gives me all the rights to practice within inside our, tradition. So if I wanted to open up an office, I have the complete right to do that. That's under the Declarations of Rights of Indigenous People. So that's something we should, keep in, context.
So let's give us some basic education. Give me 2 takeaways for the night. I'm hearing you say that we should look into this declaration. Say it again.
It's called the DRIP. You have the Declarations of Rights of Indigenous People.
Any of you gentlemen ever heard of that?
Yes, sir.
No.
Yeah, I heard of it.
Why y'all ain't never mentioned it?
I know it's something to do with
We trying to learn.
Yeah.
So here in America, when they first
DRIP.
came here, there was already set indigenous tribes, over 400 plus indigenous tribes here, and that's where we get our current legal system from today. Like I know you mentioned the flag too as well. All that comes into like alignment. So really I know. Let's talk about the subject even with reparations. Like we could want reparations as Black people, but the government doesn't give reparations to people. Governments do transactions with other governments. Just like Haiti, like we was talking about earlier. When Haiti got their reparations, it was between 2 different governments. So even if we're talking about breaking away from the system, we have to be under some type of system, whether we make our own government, whether we join this tribe. You can make your own government. It's 100% legal to do that. Those steps are there.
White people did it.
Yeah, you can make your own government, but like this one is something that is growing, is strong. I like the foundation, even down to the food system. Like we have a yearly fast. Every person in the tribe, the first 3 months of the first 3 days of the month, we fast together. That's not globally, but within the United States, because we're already in the United States. But we're trying to build structure within our people, and more so is the economical relief that we can actually take advantage of. So. Even with you, if you owned your land, if you had your land in your trust, and we do have set, products and set herbs that we can grow on that land, we can do that just like the Blackfoot Indians and any other tribes that's here in America. But we got to look at a system that gives us power, not take the power away from us. So,
And what really caught my ear in that whole conversation was the piece about Black Wall Street. I don't know if I've shared it with you, but we have given away over 3,000 Joe Mann's Black Wall Street Awards in 9 cities since 2011. We want to celebrate Black entrepreneurs and professionals, as well as the people who support them regardless of race. We, people that look like this, we have $2 trillion in annual disposable income. And so that means that everybody on this call with their own business should not be struggling at all. We should be doing well, and we should know about each other. So when I need fruit, I go to Nev. When he need media, he come to me, and so on and so forth. That's Black Wall Street.
can I say one thing? So with this tribe,
Please.
I was able to get tax exempt card. I use this pretty much every day. While I swipe, when you do join the tribe, you do get first they used to give unincorporated associations. Now they give 501c D3s. So you can actually use that as your organization. So every single person in the tribe has a business. They utilize a tax exemption each day. They save each day. And pretty much within our tribe, we have 12 different ministries. Within those ministries, that can be education, art, doctorship. We have jurists. They do legal matters. They sign people up. They issue cards. So we're able to actually make jobs and make incomes for ourselves while also joining the tribe. So it's more so of an economical system. But here in Baltimore, we have Jewtown. That's like the best example. In Jewtown here in Baltimore, the Jewish people, they have their own hospitals. They even have their own shops. Everything is their own police. Everything is pretty much, it has a Jewish sign on it. Like everything, even down to their cleaners, they own it. The money is circulating. But with that, they own the property too as well, and the property stays within the trust, and they can use that to acquire more property. So when we talk about these things, we have a lot of wealthy black people, but it's more so getting into one system in one accord. In Atlanta, I know it's small, but they have 3 to 4 acres of farmland. They do have one open doctorship. Everyone in Atlanta, in the tribe, they have their own license plate. They do have a small DMV down there. So they're actually taking the small steps to actually utilize it. It's working. So I feel as though, it's something I'm not going to let up off of. Like, we talk about these things, but it's actually an organization that's doing it for the people. It's simple. And I think
Let me pass the ball to some of my other panelists here, Dr. Nev. Planet Wells, any thoughts?
Well, I'm really touched by the two new guests, and honored to be with them. They're, they're they have a powerful light, and I'm on this synchronicity thing, and so WJ here, this brother, um, William Jones. There's a synchronicity that we have that we can get into. But
You want to
I'm
let
just
us in on it, Wells? Come on now, you done talked the whole minute, man. Come on now.
Oh man, well, no, it's very easy. His initials are WJ, and those are my initials. And he's talking about Afrofuturism
Yes, sir.
and whatnot. And well, I do have a question for you, which
My
is
God.
in terms of the this system that this place that we're in currently. What would you say is the origin of Afrofuturism?
Oh, well, the term itself came about in the 1990s. Okay. And it was actually coined by a journalist, a white journalist, actually. He termed the coin Afrofuturism. However, if we talk about Afrofuturism and what it actually is, we were Afrofuturists before there was a word for it. So, for example, the moment you start to construct things, you become a futurist because it's not for you, it's for generations after you. The moment you create science, you're a futurist because you're building the future through that, mathematics and so forth. So we're Afrofuturists even before the term existed. But if we're just talking about the creative side, we've been speculating and writing about the future for a very long time. And if we just keep it right here in the United States, a lot of people don't realize W.E.B. Du Bois actually wrote some science fiction stories. One of the earliest sources of Afrofuturism or Black speculative fiction is a book called Blake's or the Huts of America, where it was envisioned that a Black person would rise up and create a Black space. You talk about government, Dr. Nev, you're mentioning government. In Black speculative Black speculative fiction, I'm sorry, if you go and find this book called Blake's or the Huts of America, he talks about setting up this government, long before a lot of Black folks was even thinking on that level. So it's always been there in terms of this idea of preparing for and being aware of Black people in future spaces.
Okay. Is there any social framework that you've been working on that can kind of uplift our imagery in this futuristic thing?
Oh, definitely. The artists that I often communicate with, they've gone great lengths to actually improve upon and rebuild the images. Now, depending upon your ages, I don't know folks' ages up here, but if you can remember the cartoons, for example, that you grew up watching and the representation of Black folks, going back to the 50s, 60s, and 70s and so forth. Okay. That is the idea of this negative representation. So now you have Black creatives that is moving forward. Okay. I'm seeing here, can I address one of these questions here?
Yes.
Okay. Someone says that's a lie. The Bible says about nothing about a curse calling them Black. I did not say it was part of the Bible. I said it was part of oral tradition. Okay. So I did not say it was the Bible. I never said that. I said they took it and they ran with it through oral tradition. The Mormon story that they're making reference to at the bottom, that's a different story coming out of the Mormon community.
Right.
When you look at the Book of Mormon, they said that people were divided between black and white, and the blacks were evil and the whites were good. So once again, if you're going to quote me, please get it correct, because I did not say, and it's recorded and you guys are listening, I did not say it came from the Bible. I said it came from oral tradition that came from that story. So please, if you're going to quote me, get it correct.
Yes, sir. Dr. Nev, so could you express more? Because you said a 501 D3, right?
Yeah.
So what's the difference between a C3 and a D3
So it's
as
more
far
so
as
like,
that?
Good question.
I know you've seen different sources where like people are setting up churches.
Yes, sir.
It's kind of similar to that, but we're doing it with the tribe for service purposes. So if you were to get a service from me, you'll be able to write that off for your taxes. And like I said, this is for self-governance and this is for empowering the people. So that's another leg up. Because before we used to just do unincorporated associations. So I still had mine from 2017. So I got to make the switch too now as well. So
Absolutely.
I got another question for both of you guys. So could you guys bring it home for our audience on how your vision, Dr. Nev, and your vision, Mr. William Jones, the drip and the Afrofuturism, how can we get these both together and get them on one accord so our people can see a plan with us and improve our social imagery in the future and get these statuses that you mentioned, Dr. Nev? And
I'm ready with his visionary and just more so of the simple simplicity of what I'm saying. Like that's really just getting the information and digesting it into like a full visual. Like that would be a beautiful thing. Like even just going the basis of like standing tradition. When you look at the Drip Act, like that can be a whole like scene in itself. So like I definitely like what the brother's doing with the imagery as far as just taking those black milestones and just bringing it into a new light in the future. So I really think the future in itself should be unity, and it should be black people in the economic accord and communities, bringing that old style community back, but with more of that economic push and seeing more of ourselves when we buy things, more so what I'm saying. But like that's already given, but like having that futuristic aspect, I think that would hit hard. That's a beautiful thing.
And if I can just build up what Dr. Nev just stated, if you speak with Afrofuturists, there are Afrofuturists that actually hold workshops where they're envisioning a future that is free of all these constraints when it comes to black inferiority, white supremacy, and things of that nature. So there are folks that are having workshops around the theme of Afrofuturism and actually constructing that future. So when Dr. Nev is talking about self-governance and so forth, that's part of what they're envisioning. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the Star Wars films. When they had the original, the
we saw Star Wars.
I just want to make sure. I don't want to make no assumptions.
Yeah,
If you've seen the prequels, there was a character called Jar Jar Binks, right? And it was a brother that actually played him. And the brother's name is Ahmed Best. Ahmed Best today has actually constructed a game around themes of Afrofuturism. Him and brother by the I believe his name is Lonnie. Don't get me. Oh gosh, I believe it was Lonnie. I forgot the last name. I forget the last. It's Ahmed Best. He's the actor that played Jar Jar Binks, and he and another creator, and I believe it was Lonnie Williams, if I remember correctly. Please forgive me if I've gotten it wrong. They've actually come up with a game centered around Afrofuturism, and it turns into a workshop where the players are tasked with creating a future devoid of these limitations of white supremacy and black inferiority. So Dr. Nev, your ideas and what you've done and what you discussed in terms of owning land, governance, and things of that nature, it fits right into that. So I hope that answers your question, Brother James.
yes, I appreciate you guys.
Yeah, I would like to connect with both of you guys. If y'all could share your information as well. So because I'm great at recruiting and passing the information along to our more people who are uninformed or don't have the access to the information. So bringing that all together, because I created a multiverse myself as far as in imagery with cartoons and using spirituality and using the history that we rediscovering and uncovering to characterize these certain images that we haven't seen and tell the stories that from our perspective as well. And
All right, I just want to get a moment and welcome back our homeboy, Mr. Hars the Fourth here. Hey, Hars.
yes, sir.
Peace, 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 everybody.
Well done, Hars.
As far as
Right.
also what we developing on this channel is a platform to connect and get the resources to the people, because I was told that this could be useless knowledge. You know what I'm saying? So it's not what you guys are bringing to the table is applicable to everything that we are speaking about, as far as in knowing who we are and rediscovering that.
Hey, Wells, what you doing over there? You
I'm trying to figure out how to get me back straight. What do I got to do?
Just rotate your phone. Hit the rotate button, or turn it. But anyway, what you been up to today, Hars? Hars the Fourth.
Oh man,
this is the actor that
Yes.
William was talking about.
Okay.
yeah,
I
brother.
got
I've been doing anything, man. Just working. Headed to one of my favorite places in America, which is Arlington, Texas.
Okay.
But I'm currently right now I'm in Birmingham, Alabama.
Oh, I used to live there.
We gotta get you a lamp there, Hars.
I know, man. And I pulled over like I texted you and told you I was gonna pull over. And actually, man, am parked right next to a gigantic mound right here, unbeknownst to before I actually looked out of the window. I'm gonna try to delete this here. Maybe this is a little better, man.
So, Hars, let me just bring you up to speed. William Jones is an Afrofuturism artist, among other things. I mean, he's multi-talented. And Dr. Nev, I want to get it straight. I meant to ask you earlier. What is the name of your confederation?
It's the Aboriginal Republic of North America.
There you go, Hars.
Okay, yeah, I was listening in before I got a chance to stop, and I appreciate you brothers, man. My man here with the locks, I was thinking that when you were speaking about receiving these different accolades and benefits in regards to tying into with the tribal thing. Well, a lot of things go into names. Ab, doesn't necessarily mean what we think it means, but I'm not getting into that. But I was just, thinking in as much as tying back into a system that we're really trying to get away from. You know what I mean? And I know about the trust. I know about the redemption process. I know about dealing with the Treasury Department, the QSIP numbers, and et cetera, and these particular things are dealing with the birth certificates, which they put on the market every time you sign your name on something. Then a QSIP is created, and I was thinking that we was trying to get away from that and get our own thing, because then we fall back into giving this corporation that's posing as a government the power, because we're trying to get a material gain from this. Yeah, go ahead, bro.
Well, more so, it's not giving them power, since we are dealing with a government outside of the current government. It's two governments doing the communication. Instead of you having a birth certificate under the United States government, you have now a tribal certificate under a tribal government, and that government is doing communication on your behalf. So you still have to operate with inside this government, even though we can all break away from it, but we're too embedded, and we can't really fully get away from the systems. but we can still operate within our own system and govern ourselves. And that's the major thing. So it's not more so, I'm not looking at this as an escape thing. I'm just more so, I can protect my assets, I can self-govern my kids, I can build my own family name with rest over my head. Even if I had a 501, if I had a nonprofit under the United States, they can still take whatever I own under that. With my tribal account, that can't be garnished, that can't be waged, and that can't be frozen because the registration is under honor. But that's two governments doing the communication. So rather than you just giving your information to some person at a desk at City Hall. So that's more so what we're kind of trying to step away from, us as people doing communications with governments and having somebody represent us. That's what we really want. And that's where we say self-governance is really where we're trying to stem to. So,
yeah, and trust me, bro, I can respect that.
Yeah.
You know, and I understand where you're coming from 100%, and I don't not agree with it because I mean it's no such thing as it being a free enterprise in a commercial society that's dealing with a uniform commercial code.
Yes, sir.
So we under this maritime admiralty law right now that they're governing the land, but it still similarly ties us back. But if you got a trust that belongs to a tribe, then they have to recognize it because of the trust itself.
Yes, sir.
But I do. And see, I'm one of those guys where off the grid stuff, yeah, whatever, man. But more so than anything, and this is just personal, and I mean, I don't know what the likelihood of it would be anytime soon, but I don't want reparations. I don't want none of that shit. I just want them to get off of Turtle Island. Get the hell off Turtle Island, and we have enough manpower here, even within this paddle, man, to rule this whole country. But then we got the sisters. See what I'm saying? So while they still here, and this, that, and other, I understand where you're coming from, and I respect that, and I honor it. But like I say, man, just get the hell off Turtle Island, and we'll figure it out.
Even when Christopher Columbus came over here, he didn't come over here raping and pillaging. He's already set government. They already had their own police. They had to join the actual government. They had to learn traditional.
It was already here,
and they started buying land, and that's where we get our first enterprise. So it's still the same aspect.
Yeah, well, see, they came with their paperwork, under the doctrine of discovery, to use that as a means to slither in and say, hey, this is ours, because we fought for a long time, man. I would say that they really didn't have a good hand in the fight until the early 1800s. But from the 1400s all the way up to the 1700s, and we was kicking their asses, man. So they try to make it seem like
they had
to
build a resource.
Make it seem like we were these dudes, man, that were, like I heard the brother saying, playful and joyful and all that. Well, those were the remnants of what was left over after they had murdered all of us and starved all of us out. And so now we're looking at them like they're friendly people because they're the hand that's feeding us after they're starving us. But we have never been such a goofy people that we would let somebody slip in, but they came posing as neighbors because they looked like us. And then the Caucasoid didn't come to 75 years later after they had pillaged everything from Hispaniola up to Canada.
You're 100% right. And even with that notion, like, I know some people say go back to Africa. Some people say, hey, but like a lot of us aren't from Africa. Most of our families probably never left out of America. So like, it's only right that this land is your land. So to think of it like, hey, this doesn't belong to me and it's not my birthright is crazy. So like, why not take ownership in that and actually have a leg up in it? So that's how I look at it. And it's hard because we want to get away from it. Yeah, we want to set our own, but the way the system is set up, you have to be working in some type of system. It's hard to say that, but like
I think this where we at a bridge and a crossroad, because what you bring in with the political aspect and what Brother Jones is bringing with the Afrofuturistic aspect is a creation of it, because what Horace is saying, where we coming from, we trying to get away from it, but we also have to operate within the confines of what's already constructed to build that as for a future play to be built, where people can come up in the tribe that you building or the tribe that the next person is building. But it's the same thing. Like you say, you have to be able to play within the system to be able to bring it outward, to have the control to build. So I understand that aspect as well, because to govern ourselves the way that we see fit, we don't have the body to embody that. You see what I'm saying? That's why, like I say, I bring that up again. People said it's useless knowledge because they have no way onto how to apply this. Okay, I'm original, I'm American, but what does that mean for me and my own stability and security? So a lot of people is in fear of living off grid because of the amenities that come with living in a social society. So I think being more social in a society allows people the normality of what they familiar with, as opposed to being off grid and just dealing with no systematic aspect at all.
Well, can I bounce this back to Mr. William Jones again? Now, we done listened to both Horace and we done listened to Dr. Kelvin and their opinions about this subject. So far as the Afrofuturism and the imagery, how can we put this into order where we can not accommodate both of them, but we can recognize both opinions?
Okay, well, for one, please understand that one of the most powerful things out there is a story. We are all governed by stories way more than anything else.
Right.
And it's through the stories that we learn, it's through the stories that we receive the images of ourselves, and it's through the stories that we have the images of other people. So one of the things that we have to take control of is the storytelling. Okay, whether you call it religion, that is storytelling. Whether you call it news, that is storytelling. Whether you call what we're doing right now, this is storytelling. And one of the biggest issues is other people have been telling our story for far too long, and we're buying into the stories that they're telling us. So what makes Afrofuturism and other things of that nature so dangerous is you're reconstructing and you're creating a new story. And then once you create that new story, now you have a new standard to live up to. Once you create a new story, you now place yourself at the center. For far too long, Black folks have placed themselves, because of conditioning, in the margins. You know, and Carter G. Woodson talks about that. We will get to the back of the line because we've been conditioned to do so. So before, you know, in order to get to the spaces that Dr. Nev is talking about, we have to have the ability to see ourselves in positions of authority. Because one of the issues is, because of storytelling, we don't believe we can do it. We don't see value in the next Black face. Okay, we don't see the value.
I gotta push back. You done gone too far. You done gone way too far. But keep going.
Yeah, so it's we have to gain control of the medium of storytelling. Okay, one of the things that's happening right now in this country, and the Republicans of late have been masterful. They really been masterful with this all along. But if you notice, one of the first things Donald Trump will do is he'll create a story about you. He'll give you a name. He'll give you a nickname. And you end up spending so much time defending against his story that you lose sight of what you're trying to do.
Wow.
But if you have your story intact, it won't matter what other folks say. And when you have that story intact,
he's what we call a crack. We call him a crack artist. He's good at cracking jokes on people, naming people, big nose, whatever.
Yes,
he's really good at that. I wish he would have had my daddy for one night. He would be a totally different person. We've talked about a couple of things. I got to get this one piece in because I promised in the description that we would touch on this. I just want to share some information. I hope I can bring it up correctly. There it is. About this Iroquois nation, because we put it up about the flag. And if any of you can share any information on this, the Iroquois Confederacy, and y'all help me out with the pronunciation, Haudenosaunee is a historically powerful alliance of Native American nations known for its advanced democratic and diplomatic institutions, originating among 5 distinct nations in the Great Lakes region. It later became a six-nation confederacy that profoundly influenced North American colonial history and continues to exist today as a cultural and political body. Member nations include the Mohawk, the Oneida, forgive me if I pronounce it wrong, Onondaga, Cayuga, Seneca, Tuscarora. I just wanted to get that in, and again, that's relevant to this flag right here, which was, I didn't know this. I've learned some things on this show I didn't know. I didn't know that the Americas had more pyramids than Africa, and I damn sure didn't know that this flag that I see in the back of white boys' pickup trucks, they carrying around a black flag. They supporting black history. Thank y'all. All this time, who knew? Gentlemen, I pass you the floor.
Well, see, we got to realize we're dealing with the babies on the planet. You know,
Yes.
I heard the minister Farrakhan saying that when the baby first learned how to crawl, and he discovered a room that we already knew was there. So everything that they do, see why they have us looking for a God in the sky, we're the gods that they're worshiping on the low. But getting back to what my brother was saying, man, I like the futuristic idea, man. That's powerful, man, because I was talking with the sister Brenda, and we were saying that the state that we are in right now, if a person were to read the history of what we are creating right now or have been creating for the last 400 years, would this be congruent to our dark ages at this particular moment?
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
Because when the Moors were in Spain, remember, they went through a dark age in Spain under their rulership. Before they got exiled, it came this way in 1492. So I'm thinking that whatever they were doing over there, they came and did over here. So eventually they're going to have to move around the same way Queen Isabella and whoever was behind her realized what was going on. So somebody's going to have to step up and push these people up off of Turtle Island, because everywhere they go, they're like the Midas man. You know, everything he touches turns to gold. Everything they touch turns to something else.
You know, I like both questions that both you and that Donnie and Horace posed. So I'm gonna try to bring both of them together. What I know about the Iroquois is that the Iroquois would not call themselves Iroquois themselves. I know that this is like a French term or people that met them. I know, like Johnny said, it was 5 nations, and then the 6th nation would be what we call the Tuscarora. The reason why I know about the Tuscarora is because it's stories about, I think I can't remember the guy's name. It's about some people that was from some colonizers that got lost in North Carolina, and they came back years later, and these Native Americans had these colored eyes. This was the Tuscarora. So I know that the Tuscarora was down like in North Carolina, South Carolina with the creeks and stuff. So I find it interesting that when it comes to the colonizer, that the colonizer did have an allegiance or a contract with them. A lot of people want to think that they want to think that the natives was all on one page, but these Iroquois were in confederation with the colonizers, from my opinion and my research. So is there a way that we can bridge the gap with understanding of with the futurism and with the drip? You guys, do you see how the missing element between the native history and the African, our history, and how it correlates with each other, where it's missing, where we can actually, if we can pull together both information, we can actually fulfill both things that you guys is talking about?
Yeah, I feel like when Dr. said when we opened up the show, they made us scared of our own shadow. So now, like something like that flag.
No, I didn't say that. I said they portrayed us as if we were scared of our own shadow. That's how they painted us in that first feature film, The Birth of a Nation.
Exactly. So from that, the images that are ours, we became afraid of that, just like that flag or the swastika. The deeper you get in history, these images of the things that were powerful to us from a certain origin, we stay away from that. So we don't know how to integrate that into a future aspect. So it's just like taking the pieces of what we know about governing or we know about the system to implement our own governance. But it takes a certain level of information and self-governance to even put yourself in them shoes to start a confederation or start a nation of your own.
I want to ask the panel a quick question. Well, two
I think
statements.
Nev wanted to respond, Horace.
Yeah,
I thought, go ahead, bro.
my bad. Really, I was going to say, like we were saying, it takes self-governance. That's why I kind of like this government, because it lays it out in layman's term, even down to our Constitution, down to most of the literature that we produce for our people. We give step-by-step notions of how to set up your own government, and we give you structure in this government. So really, it's really no excuse. There's really no excuse, honestly. Even down, like I said earlier, down to what food you should eat, how the women should carry themselves, down to how men should carry themselves economically, emotionally, et cetera, et cetera. All that's there. It's all there. It's all there. So,
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, the Honorable Noble Drew Ali said that I'm going to leave the European here long enough to teach you how to run a government. And one of the things that Bobby Hemmett said is that our ancestors were wise enough to give all of this information to this thorn that's in our side right now, because we have been around so long that we're taking a nap right now. So now, as we wake up out of that nap, had we not given it to them, then it would forever been lost. So I that's all I wanted to say. I'll pass it on to the next person.
Well,
Please.
the things that most vital things that have been seized from us and our children is our imagination.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the beauty of what William Jones is introducing, is a way of reestablishing the design and the power of imagination, because all of this stuff started with a thought, and a thought is directly linked to imagination. So when you imagine it, we're so powerful that when we imagine things, they actually manifest. Yeah. So I really applaud both you brothers for what you bring into the table. My background is with Sun Ra,
Mm-hmm. Yes.
and my dear friend who recently passed, Greg Tate, who taught science fiction at Brown University, as well as pioneered the Black Rock Coalition in New York. So I'm with you, brothers. I'm with you.
And one thing that I would like to say also is, I saw a question, and I want to, shout out to all of the people that are sending their comments and so forth. One of the comments that I saw was, I wrote this down: how are the babies dominating? And I'm assuming that when they say the babies, are referring to white folks or whatever the case might be, right? I'm assuming that's what they mean by the babies. Am I correct in that? You guys know?
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you translated that for me, because that sounds absolutely on point.
That's
so
straight over my head.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I believe happened was Europeans established a sense of racial identity before other groups did. And what I mean by that is, Europeans will fight one another. History has shown that. But what they agree upon is who's not going to win. And who's not going to win is folks that look like us. So they'll fight all day. But the moment someone that doesn't look like them enters into that, all of their energy turns on that person. So
that's why we support Burkina Faso and the efforts of Ibrahim Traore. Make sure you get my book, Black Blueprint, Baltimore to Burkina Faso. And let me just jump this in. I'm going to give it back to you, Mr. Jones. I promise. On the last show, someone said I shouldn't be talking about politics. Every damn thing we do is governed by politics. I'm not from that mob. You got the wrong one. Damn right I'm political. And they said I was leaning on Trump. Wondered what I had to say about Biden and Obama. The same damn thing. If it ain't about empowering us, the hell with all of them. I ain't married to none of them. I'm about my people and who's going to help serve my people best. You got the floor, Mr. Jones. Thank you.
Oh, so yeah, like I was saying is we have to learn that we can disagree, but if we can agree upon what our destination is, then we got to get past whatever differences we might have. Right. So, for example, once again, I'm seeing some of the comments and so forth. For me personally, I'm of the understanding and based on my research that you have a distinction between Native Americans and African peoples. And at a point in time, there was a blending of the two. Okay. And then you have what they refer to as Black Indians. All right. But if there are other folks that see and say Black folk were the original people here and so forth, and if their research has led them to that conclusion, then so be it. But it doesn't mean that we can't agree on other things. See, the problem is we allow the differences to become bigger than our actual fight. Right. So I can't get caught up in these different titles. And one of the things that tends to happen with Black folk is we become part of a movement. Whatever we become part of becomes bigger than our Blackness. Right. Nothing that we join should ever become bigger than our Blackness. Right. You know, so whether it's religion, whether it's a fraternity, a sorority, whether it's a political party, whatever the case might be, if you're Black first, we'll put aside those other discussions for another time. Okay. I may not agree with every single point of every one of you on the panel, but let's find out where we do agree and move forward. So the babies
when that popo pull all seven of us over in a car, they ain't checking for tribes, your religion, your bloodline, your lineage. They say y'all get y'all Black hind parts up out in that car, up against the wall. You know what it is. So we gotta stop letting, like you're right, stop letting that silly stuff divide us. You know, if you say Black, I'm offended. Come on. No. Come on,
that's what I meant by Black raindrops.
Yes, sir. Yes, I just wanted to share that with the audience and so forth. I'm seeing a variety of comments, and I want them to know that the panelists, I'm assuming, can be as diverse as the comments. But yet here we all are together talking about how we can make things better.
Absolutely.
And I'm with you, brother. And whoever wrote the comment, is this a more science channel? No, I'm not a more science, nor do I claim to be a more, but I recognize Norbert Drew for his intelligence as well as his accomplishments. That's why I quote what he said. That's it.
So in the compendium of Afrofuturism, we can say that that we're trying to display the avenues of our experience, the Black experience. Yes. So we're trying to get our audience to like you say, we can agree we're Black. The other stuff we'll talk about later. Yes, we need a plan now. And like,
I'm a Rican. I mean, who cares? When they pull you over, they not seeing if you copper color red, light skin, red bone, under the bed dark. They locking you up. Stop it. Okay, I'm sorry.
So is there anything that we can support and that a place that we can go see both of you guys' work?
Dr. Nev, you first.
So easily you can definitely follow us at Alkaline Bodies _ at Instagram. Also the Avenue Market at 1700 Pennsylvania Avenue. Always there. And if you're interested in the tribe, you can always just go to Google, type in Aboriginal Republic of North America, it pops right up. And you can always get in contact with me or Brother Malone here in Baltimore. He's a minister, so he'll be able to assist you with any questions or anything else like that.
Let's get it again. Aboriginal Republic
of North America.
Have y'all heard of that before?
No,
No.
sir.
No, I wrote it down though.
And he says,
I know about
he says it's down in Atlanta. They're headquartered in Atlanta, so you might pull through there.
Yeah, I just left the A. When y'all brothers get a chance, check out that pyramid on 285 right there in Smyrna.
Okay.
Mr. Jones, how can people get in touch with you, big brother? How can we support you? And you both have an open invitation to come back to this show, because
Absolutely.
let me just tell you, Hannibal's in Detroit, Horace based out of Chicago, but as you see, he's all over the country. Wells is in Hawaii, and Mafia Shakur is in Baltimore.
Excellent, excellent. As far as reaching me, you can check me out on afrofuturismnet.com. That's my website. My company's name is Afrofuturism Network. And if you go on YouTube, I have a series of interviews. It's called Into the Afroverse. And if you go on YouTube, you can listen to some of these Afrofuturistic creators and thinkers where I sit down and talk with them. So those are the best ways to support me. And of course, you can find me on social media under Afrofuturism Network as well. So whether it's Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook, you can look me up under Afrofuturism Network.
Beautiful.
So, Planet Wells, do you see any spiritual connection between the both of these guys here?
Totally.
Yeah, y'all got God in the future, Mr. Jones?
Say again, please.
Is there a God in the future?
You talking about God or religion?
God.
Yeah, I mean, if it depends. You got to look at how does one define God. Before I can answer that, the question would have to be, how do you?
The one you call when you in trouble in a foxhole, them boys got 3 of them gats on you. Your back is up against the wall. God. Some say Jesus. Some say Allah. They got a million names.
I just wanted to be clear. There's definitely a spiritual aspect to Afrofuturism. So people have done stories on that and connecting with that. During my course of interviews, a woman actually created this biblical futurism where she sees the merging of science and religion and so forth. So that is definitely part of the conversation of Afrofuturism. Spirituality is not left out of that conversation.
I'd be interested to see how you connect, or if it connects the original Trinity, the Father, the Mother, and the what?
And the Son.
Yeah, the Father, the Mother, and the child. How that will go, or they're going to stick with the misogynistic, that's my understanding,
right?
Father, Son, Holy Ghost, because they ain't got no woman in there.
Right.
How you going to take the woman out of it? Ain't no life without her.
Yeah, beheading of the gods.
So, Mr. Jones, what you think? Was this what you thought it would be?
Actually, it's more. I walked in with no real preconceived notions. This is my first experience sitting down with you and your guests and so forth, and I'm thoroughly enjoying this. So it's even more than what I thought it was going to be.
Okay, how about you, Nev? Any thoughts? Because we got a thing we do before we shut it down.
Impactful, man. I always love to make an impact, and I hope the viewers and guests got some good information. They can take this, make an impact in their community. So it's all about impact.
And before I pass it to Horace, I really like that that you two took a chance. Mr. Jones, you didn't know me from a can of paint, and I'm glad you took a chance. I know you was like, I don't know, bro, but I told you these some authentic from the heart people, and they would do anything for to help each other. And
but
I
you
like
also I just want to say you also took a chance on me, so I appreciate the fact that you invited me up here. Once again, you can say I took a chance on you, but you equally took a chance on me. So I truly appreciate that.
That's us working together, whether you want to call it Black Wall Street, Umoja, whatever you want to call it. All of us locking on. When I see the Mexicans show up 50 deep to an abandoned house, and the next morning that house is ready to go, I know that we have the same capability. So if you have any ancestors, this is where we shout them out. You got the floor, Mr. Hars.
Okay, and before I read off, this list of the ancestors, this list consists of ancestors who have gone to the ancestral realm, and it also consists of those who are still alive, because we know we never die in the first place. So those who I call that have gone to the ancestral realm, oh, trust me, they still alive. And I also want to say, before I say anything else, is that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that our unity is more powerful than a hydrogen bomb.
Mhm.
That's powerful, brother. That's really powerful. Let me read this list off. First, I want to start off by honoring the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, the great Queen Neitha of Chicago, Illinois, who defeated 5 armies of invading Europeans, so much so that they erased her from the pages of history. The most honorable Empress Vidayasi of Louisiana, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Malcolm Malik El Shabazz, Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad, Dr. Delbert Blair, the Honorable Taj Tariq Bey and Dr. G, the Honorable Dr. Claude Anderson, Chief Redbird, Chief Warhorse, Dr. Francis C. Wilson, Dr. Arikana, Sister Shahrazad Ali, Mama T, Vicky Dillard, Sister Myra, Dr. Joy DeGroot, Patrice Lumumba, Professor PLO Lumumba, the late great C. Freeman Ill, Dr. Martin Luther King, Che Guevara, Dr. Malachi York, Omali Yashatila, Julius Malema, President Ibrahim Traore, the beloved brother Bobby Hemmett, the Honorable Reverend Phil Valentine, Nellie Fuller, Fred Hampton, Ivan Van Sertima, Dr. Ben, Dr. Henry, the Minister Louis Farrakhan, Anthony T. Browder, Dr. Booker T. Coleman, Professor James Small, and I forgot last time, but a sister on YouTube by the name of LaChrist. Check her out, man. LaChrist, man, she bringing in the old books that got all the information about the people who are indigenous to the land. The brother Rod Hayes, as well as Young Elder, Billy Carson, 19 Keys, Dane Calloway, Karimu Ahua, Rizza Islam, the legendary Top Cats, Dr. Sebi, Leia Laha O Africa, Yaqui Awakening, King Randall, Donnie Glover for providing this platform for us to reach our people. The Honorable Planet Wells, the beloved brother Hannibal Jones, the young, wise, and intelligent brother Mafia Shakur, and to you, my brother William Jones and Dr. Nev, and to all our viewers who are down with the cause 100%. Ashe, brothers.
Young shout out to your ancestors. Lily Glover, Doc Glover.
Yeah, Rose Lee, Leola Holman, Horace Lee, Walter Lee,
Booker T. Jones,
James Davis,
Elma Lolita DeVerges Jones, E.
James
Rodney Jones, Sun Ra,
my aunt Ali Lillard, Alma Goodman, Laura Holman, Leola Hardy, James Holman, yeah, Alonzo Holman,
Amanda Jones,
Flossie Rivers,
Anisa Hoskins, Buck
Mary
Hoskins,
Murray.
yeah.
Mary Grant.
Nev, Mr. Jones, any ancestors, any people you want to uplift?
Wow, I got so many. I'll just say all the folks that came before me.
I agree.
there you go.
Ashe. Mafia Score, you got the final word. You the point guard. Take us on.
Man, I want to give a big shout out to everybody in the chat, to the panel. to the special guests that we have. Like we say, y'all always welcome, and we want to continue to grow. We want to continue to unite, continue to divide the divisions that keep us from our strongest power, and we can continue to unite.
Absolutely.
Shout out to Sister Candy. We must be doing well because she ain't put her foot in her hind parts. We done gone a good 10 days, Mafia Shakur. You know she don't play. Shout out to Sister Candy Bar.
Yes.
And
Well, we can't
blessings
forget
to Steve
Sister
Coakley.
Brenda.
Blessings to
Brenda
Steve
Bennett.
Coakley.
Oh my God. She'll come get you in the night, won't she?
Yeah,
She'll
you
snatch you about
can't
3
forget
at
Sister
3
Brenda.
o'clock in the morning with 15 texts. Watch this.
16 texts.
It's always a pleasure, man.
Absolutely. No, this is good. This is
I
really,
appreciate
really good.
everybody.
Powerful. It's powerful.
Appreciate you
stuff.
all. Appreciate both of you
We'll
guys.
be back Sunday night at 8 p.m.
A part 2 of
Sunday
this
night
one.
at 8 p.m. We'll be
Thank you.
back. Thank you very much.
Peace, brothers. Peace.
Sorry,
Peace.
brothers.
Absolutely. Absolutely.